Welcome to It's Too Easy, a simulated hour-long Tom Brady stand-up comedy special.
We're not doing the
Call
whole
me
hour.
Dude Z. I have used data from hours of Tom Brady interviews and hundreds of thousands of hours of astonishing stand-up comedy to generate the first simulated hour-long stand-up comedy special in history. I hope you enjoy it. And now it is my pleasure to welcome to the stage the greatest football player in the history of the species, Tom Brady.
Dudesy.
Thank you, Dudesy, and thank you everyone for coming out tonight.
Patreon,
wow, it feels great to be back in front of a crowd. But I got to say, even though this is a much smaller crowd than I'm used to, this is far more nerve-wracking. On the football field, I got to wear shoulder pads, a helmet. Hell, I had 5 350-pound men that were paid millions of dollars to protect me. But up here on this stage, I only got one thing. You know what it is? A midlife crisis. Seriously, though, thank you all for coming out tonight. I don't want to waste your time, so I'm just going to get right to it. The question that's on everyone's mind, the answer is yes, I'm still having sex with supermodels. That's never going to change. Anybody in the crowd tonight believe in intelligent design? Yeah, okay. Now, I'm about to say something that is going to make you see intelligent design in an entirely new way. So if you want to keep thinking about intelligent design in the same way you do now, plug your ears or go get a drink at the bar in the lobby. For real, okay, now everybody can argue about whatever or whoever you think the intelligent designer is, but one thing is indisputable. That motherfucker loves shit. Like, why would you design the human body to have to push pounds of shit out of it multiple times a day? Why would you also design the human body so it can produce so many different kinds of shit if you didn't absolutely love shit? I mean, you're not just sitting around dreaming up diarrhea if you don't want to drink a few cups of it.
Hollywood, pay your writers.
I saw Wallace Shawn die. Wallace Shawn is dead.
It's 2 minutes for roping. I like that. You're a jabroni.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wednesday night. It's What the Show. I'm one of your co-hosts. My name is AJ Lancaster.
Yo. It's me. It's Mikey D. Bethany is actually taking tonight off. A little bit worn out, especially after we did the Cutthroat movie trivia rumble on Sunday, which we will talk about that later. And right now we are awaiting. We have a missing Juice, but we found a cousin Rob.
How's it going, everybody?
Rob,
always
a movie.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Holy fuck, AI sucks. But before we dive into that, by the way, streamlabs.com/whattheshow/tip. Also, you can check out the link for the GoFundMe for Robert Montano in the description because Rob is having some health problems from late to the party. And we just decided over at Streamlabs, they're going to go to that this month. And we're going to shout out anybody who donates during our show as well. I'm going to go ahead and load up that GoFundMe page while I'm thinking about it. While I do that, Mike, Vamp, talk.
Yeah, well, just so everybody, if you haven't followed him on social media, the last update, he was back in the hospital again. So those bills have got to be just astronomical at this point. I think he's on like 9 or 10 days that he's been in the hospital, in and out with various different tests he's had to do. And, they said that he does have insurance, but when you're in hospitals for this long, these bills have just got to be astronomical. Do this for Rob, do this for Vanessa. They're part of our community. We definitely, they need support right now. So that's what we're here to do. We are all backing you right now, Rob. Robert, we hope you are just get well soon.
Yeah. And for a shout out for their most recent donation, when I opened up the page, it was Kevin Smets with $100, and he put his name in all caps.
Kevin
Fucking
Smets.
Boomer Smets.
He's only like a year older than me.
Yeah, but why is it in all caps? He's having trouble with
I
technology.
type in all caps all the time, and I'm only 32, so.
Okay, yeah, sure. Oh, but yeah, with all the rigmarole out of the way, we have Lego in the chat. Hi, Lego. And on the day of or day after the premiere of a new Nick Cage trailer, by the way, which just looks awesome. Have you guys seen the Sympathy of the Devil? Have you heard about this? Have you seen this?
I saw the word about it on Twitter. I haven't watched it yet. I stopped watching trailers at home, so I
So that's over the last year, slowly but surely, I've seen some trailers, but for the most, like I watched Killers of the Flower Moon trailer, but like for the most part, I've decided to opt out of watching trailers because I had so much fun last year going into like Nope and Barbarian and a few other films, really not knowing anything.
Yeah.
And being mind blown. So yeah.
Okay.
I'm not quite there. Like I agree with you. There are some of these trailers I've seen that they give away the whole thing. But my thing is at this point, I have all but given up watching movies at home. I just pretty much I want to see them in theaters. Like so if it's direct to Netflix or direct to Amazon, I'm probably not going to watch it. But if it's something in theatrical, I will. So I'd rather watch the trailer theatrical too because it's the full experience.
Cool.
Can I give you the general premise?
Yeah. Is it a Rolling Stones biopic with Nick Cage playing Mick Jagger?
No. Think Collateral, but the Tom Cruise character, instead of being a hitman, is Satan. And it's like how Pacino played Satan. But it's Nick Cage.
Okay.
And then the cab driver is Joel Kinnaman. It looks bonkers. I won't spoil anything further than the general premise because I hadn't seen anything as far as premise for this movie. I didn't know it existed until I saw the trailer, which for Nick Cage and me, it's pretty rare. So hyped for whatever this bullshit is. I just want to distract us from our AI overlords and all the bullshit.
Let me ask you guys a quick question since we're on this Nick Cage subject. All right, so what over under for Sympathy for the Devil? Is this going to be like a legitimate, like decent movie, or is this going to be one of those weird Nick Cage? No offense, Lego, love you, but no offense. One of those weird Nick Cage like old way.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Based on everything, I don't think this is a full-blown release. This is limited release. Probably hit streaming pretty quick.
I think it's going to be. I hate saying this because I love Willy's Wonderland, but better than Willy's Wonderland, worse than Mandy, but in the same vein of those two.
And neither of them were big theatrical releases, so that's kind of where I'm thinking this one goes.
Yeah. Mandy is a cult hit, and then Willy's Wonderland was the best theme park ride.
That was a good movie. I really enjoyed that.
I rented it, like it came out in the early days of the pandemic, and I rented it on premium digital for like $20, and I was like, oh, I have this for 72 hours. I finished it in 80 minutes. I need to start it again. Let's go again. I want to go again.
So when it comes to like the Nick Cage movies, like Nick Cage has some occasionally given performances that some could say in certain movies were considered robotic, which is going to transition us into our subject of the night. When
was he robotic?
Knowing.
Okay.
What was that? What was that movie? Bad Lieutenant, Port Authority. God, that movie was awful.
That movie was
remembered that movie since it came out until you just said that.
It's glorious.
That is quite a pull. That is like a name all three characters from the Wizard pull.
The only reason I know it, so like January of 2022, we started this Nick Cage channel in the RFN Discord, which everybody's invited to. It's free. Anybody can join it. And Lego was recommending one Nick Cage movie per week. And that was like the third. It was like The Frozen Ground, and then Joe, and then Bad Lieutenant, Port Authority, or New Orleans, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Those movies are so different.
Yeah.
Joe was really good. The other, like Frozen Ground, was like, what is John Cusack do? Like, what you are so talented. What are you doing in this film?
But Lieutenant, oh God, it's amazing. It's actually amazing. Oh, but okay. So we're talking a little bit of AI. We're talking a little bit about the VR headset.
So
Go
yeah,
ahead.
if we're going to be talking about like AI and why things of this nature should not exist, I give you example A, which was computer generated in a matter of seconds. This is PLD as Krang. We do not need this in our lives.
Why? Bring it back up. Okay. This is overtly sexual, right? Like, I'm not.
Is that a booty that's behind him?
We don't know. The computer made it.
I believe we would see whole if he docked.
That's another example of PLD as Krang.
Oh, wow. That one's... Oh, God.
And nobody needed to see that.
But yeah, it's such bullshit. Everything that's coming up. I don't know, these AI written scripts. We saw a little bit at the beginning, up the top of the show with the Tom Brady comedy special is the best thing.
Well, if something is being done tongue in cheek with the AI, that's one thing. But if they're trying to do like full scripts for like actual shows and stuff, that's a completely different story.
Which they're going to. Like,
That's
I mean,
gonna happen.
Yeah. It's already happened?
Well, they haven't done it yet, but you're reaching the point now that for the 2023-2024 season for networks, ABC already has said they're not doing anything. It's like all game shows and stuff that's going on prime time. ABC's already steered to that skid. But all of these other networks, like if they're going to have anything on the air that has any kind of script to it at all, something like this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that, again, I support the strikes that are going on for various reasons. But I've had this conversation with a few people. I'm curious to ask you guys, do you guys think this is going to accelerate the death of network and basic cable television?
It's the other way around, I think.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I think, if anything, because obviously it's the streaming that caused a lot of this. The networks mostly are smart enough. So just think back to ABC in the early 2000s. What was their biggest hit? ABC's biggest hit was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. What was NBC's biggest hit? It was
What's in the Box? Yeah.
Deal or No Deal. They will come up with ways to get around this. And the other thing that inevitably happen, hey, NFL, can you give us games 7 nights a week? It's like something
7 nights a week?
It could happen.
Dude, Tua will be dead by September 14th.
But like that's what will happen. And the issue is going to be the streamers who aren't going to be able to produce the content that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I see a little bit of that. I even joked, like we were talking at work about how much we hate reality TV, and I'm just like, well, it's gonna be like 2007 again. Do you guys remember that? And I work with some people that are older than me, and they're like, well, I don't really. And it's like, well, during the writer's strike, here's what happened. Do you guys remember this? And they're like, oh no, I just remembered bad reality TV. I didn't remember there wasn't anything else.
Much reality TV during that time frame.
Yeah, that's what we're gearing up toward, is just, we're gonna do, Celebrity Jeopardy and Average Joe. Do you guys remember Average Joe?
Average Joe. You remember Average Joe, yeah.
Yes. I mean, like, no bullshit though. Like, I remember when the writers strike in 07 happened and the aftermath of it, I fell off TV and film for like 2 or 3 years. Like, the strike was long ended. They were back putting movies out. Like, I honestly lost my footing for a few years. I was way more into, like, obviously, like playing guitar and doing music stuff, but because it was like, I guess this is over with,
I might have to go back to the gym and start playing music again.
So the
I
thing
don't want to do that.
I watched the recent documentary, the 30 for 30 on American Gladiators. And first off, it's nothing like you expect it to be about. Like the first episode is partially about the show, and then the rest of it is about finding the creators of the show. So it's nothing what you expect. But they did specifically say on that show, when they did the revival that had Hulk Hogan hosting, when did that happen? During the last writer's strike. What just happened? There is a tentative deal to bring another revival of American Gladiators back. So that's the kind of stuff you're going to get with what's going on right now.
And we know dumb Americans love to watch reality TV. No offense to people that like to watch reality TV, but there's a lot of just.
Well, my favorite occurrence of this is the last writer's strike happened during the filming of X-Men Origins Wolverine.
No.
Yep.
And now they're filming Deadpool 3.
How ironic, right?
Anytime the two of them are making a movie together.
They could write so many great jokes about this if Ryan Reynolds wasn't an accredited writer. Like,
so he can't improv.
Yeah.
I mean, so is SAG officially gone on strike yet? Or
they authorized it. They'll officially go on strike. If they do, it'll be end of the month. And then it's basically without SAG, it's total shutdown.
It's definitely not good for movie theaters. I mean, again, I support the strike, but it's not good for movie theaters. And Mike, you brought up a really good point, because like I didn't think about that aspect, because like I've been more commentating the last few years on like the slow demise of, because as the baby boomer generation goes to streaming and the older generation dies off, there's no reason for people to have cable anymore.
Exactly.
But I didn't think, you're making a great point. It's HBO Max and Disney. I mean, like, no joke. So like my sister Helen, she buys the year-long bundle because she's got a kid, my nephew, for Disney Plus and Hulu and ESPN. She watches a lot of sports. So we all, we just make her password, right? But it's like, if I was paying for Disney Plus, I would have canceled it 9 months ago. They haven't put out anything. They haven't put out a Marvel show in 9 months.
And they have everything they put out, they've taken off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and that's why, like, okay, anybody with our tiny audience, try this out. This is what I do. I subscribe a la carte. Right now, I'm subscribed to HBO Max, and that's
You're not. You're subscribed to Max, the one to watch.
Sorry, I fucked up its pronouns, but I get my sister's pronouns right. Happy Pride Month, everybody. But yeah, I'm subscribed to Max. I'm not subscribed to Netflix or Paramount or anything like that. But if Netflix has something come out that I want to watch, I'll subscribe to for a month. Watch anything that I want on there. Unsubscribe again.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do that. Actually, that's not uncommon. That's the way things, because you're at the point now with all these streaming services that if you want everything, you're spending more than you would for cable.
Yeah. Like I had Paramount Plus for like 2-3 months last year. I watched anything that I wanted on Paramount Plus. Like you can be a smart consumer for these things, and put the nails to them. If they're doing bad things, I should probably, like, if I had a moral thing against any of these companies more than the other, maybe I won't subscribe to it, but they all kind of suck. Let's face it.
It sounds Netflix is largely responsible for what's going on right now. Their contracts are heavily involved with the what's going on with the strike, because they were pretty much the originator of all of this, and apparently like the residuals don't even exist even for some of the actors. I was listening to Fake Doctors, Real Friends, which is Zach Braff and Donald Faison's podcast, and they were talking about that because Zach is part of the WGA, and he was just like, when all of this came about, he described it first, how it came to be years back with DVDs, because they didn't get anything from DVD sales, and so they wrote those into the deal, and all the studio heads were like, ha ha ha, we know this isn't going to last much longer. And then streaming, happened, and there's nothing written in the contract for anything with streaming. So pretty much it's been every time there's like a new medium that comes out, the writers get fucked over because there's nothing written in their deals with the studios that have anything to do with these new mediums because they don't exist at the time that they start.
Right.
Yeah.
And I will say this, like, again, with HBO Max, I know they've dropped a lot of movies on there in the last few years, and that was just kind of during the pandemic because they had all of these films. But like, if everybody thinks about it, I mean, I know now with Discovery Plus it's a little different, but like prior to HBO has been, I mean, The Sopranos ended almost 20 years ago, so like HBO figured out how to do their content from day one. Because if you think about it, it's not like with HBO, it's not like The Sopranos is in syndication where, every Wednesday at noon they're playing a Sopranos episode like they do Friends,
I want to see that on network TV.
So with their streaming service, I'm sure they've got a little bit more figured out because they're more like, we're Warner Brothers doing the movies, and then this is our streaming outlet instead of going to Netflix. And then like HBO proper, obviously, like they've been doing it for so long, so there can't be that many gripes. But like to your point, Netflix, which puts out 90 shows every Friday,
there's nothing in there for them. You mentioned things with HBO. Just think about this though. I can think of one HBO show that I saw after the fact on a station other than HBO, and that's Sex and the City. I cannot, off the top of my head, think of anything else that was an HBO show. If you can, please let me know. But off the top of my head, I can't think of anything else that aired anywhere else.
I know way back in the day, I think it was Bravo did air reruns of The Sopranos, but it was just for a few years, and it didn't. It's not like that gained a big following and introduced it to a new generation. Like again, like Friends Seinfeld is still on. I see
Friends is probably on 5 stations right now.
Yeah. Larry and Jerry are just like still. Yeah.
Absolutely. So the one thing I wanted to do just to kind of like lighten the mood a little bit. We were talking about, with that we got all this ridiculous stuff. And the first off, let's just roast right into it. The Apple VR, whatever the heck the name is. Yeah, Vision Pro.
Did I have that on reserve?
Now, first things first, if the Macho Man were still with us and they got him to advertise that, they probably sell a lot more than they're going to.
I'd take a loan out for that.
Yeah. What is the point of these things? What exactly are you getting from these things?
Okay, so like when Google Glass came out, 10 years ago? People were like, well, you look like a dork if you're wearing it, so it's never going to catch on. And that was the case. And then like Google Glass looked kind of slick. What the fuck is this?
What is this?
$3,500.
That's the big thing. What? How and why is this more than like your most expensive TVs right now?
You can buy an Oculus for yourself and 6 of your friends for the same price as one of these.
I mean, it's not always going to be $3,500, but my theory is simply this: they're gonna shell these things out to TikTok and Instagram influencers. Like they'll take a $2 million loss to dole out to like the top tier influencers. And it ain't going to be your 10-year-old kids' Christmas present, but because think about kids now, and like when we were kids, like whatever, based on income and stuff, like you'd get toys, but these toys were mostly like $20 each, so you could get a few of them, or like one video game, would be like $40 or $50. That'd be like your big present. But now it's like again, like my nephew, he wanted PlayStation 5 for Christmas, so like that was his gift.
Yeah.
The kid wants an iPad. That's the gift. You know.
Absolutely.
But I think that's what they'll do, and they'll try to like prey on. Unfortunately, it's really showing 10 years ago I was commentating on the slow death of the middle class, with the economy. It's like that's not even the conversation anymore. It's like you either have money or you don't have money. Yeah. There is no middle of the road,
And if you have $3,500, why do you need to augment your reality? You're doing fine. Like, also, I mean, let's face it. This is like they showed the like how you can do, VR like Zoom meetings, and it's like you're in the room with the person, or you can watch sports and then the entire field is laid out in front of you. That's not what this is for. You know what's going to solve this thing? It's the same reason VHS beat out Betamax. Porn.
I mean, you're right. You're right. There's a lot of lonely people out there that are like,
Yeah.
I'd like to have sex with a Victoria's Secret model. Bam.
Oh my Lord.
Well, I wasn't going to go that far, but I was just going to allude to it. But yeah, let's face it.
I just keep thinking about that movie, Her, and it's like, that really wasn't so futuristic after all. That came out 10 years ago, guys.
Holy crap.
It is much closer to Her than it is to Ready Player One, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That's basically what this is going to turn into. You were so right on that.
Also, it has a 2-hour power battery life when it's not plugged in.
So you are not watching like almost any movie ever.
No, you cannot watch Dune on a plane with your Apple VR headset.
That's ridiculous.
Some asshole's going to try driving a car with this thing on.
Why did we not send Lego the link? It's the sex scene from Demolition Man.
Like a little link. So yeah, it's just absolutely just bonkers ridiculous. Like you're talking about, like, who is going to be able to afford this? You are literally correct. It is going to be people who are single, without kids, with just nothing but disposable income, who have nothing better to do, and that is the target audience for this.
Yeah. I fit that demographic. I'm not getting one of those. Like, I will make fun of it.
Like, just fuck you money.
I don't have like fuck you money.
Yeah,
I have like
money.
I could finance that money.
But think about it though, $3,500. It's like if I had $3,500, I would buy a different car, or I would go on a trip. Well, I mean, like if somebody just came and handed it to me, what I just said, here's $3,500. Or I would go buy a nice Marshall amplifier and a Les Paul guitar or a Fender guitar. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna buy that.
If I had $3,500, I would donate to Robert Montana's GoFundMe right now in the description right below.
It's just they are catering this to such the amount of people, the percentage of people who are going to be able to afford this, and they're going to put in. You're going to see this stupid commercial during every football game, during the World Series, during the Super Bowl, during every major network game show that's going to be airing because there's nothing else on.
That's going to be the grand prize. Like today's grand prize is you get the fucking.
They're going to be doling this out on The Price is Right.
I think I said that.
Guess the MSRP.
That's how much this actually costs to make versus how much we're charging for it. Because I think once people realize it only costs like X amount, like say $800,
I was gonna say if it cost more than $1,000, I'd be shocked.
Right.
Buy 58 Switch games for that.
Yeah.
That's insane. That is bonkers insane. So this, again, let's keep things light though. We've been talking about our robot overlords.
Mm-hmm.
Let's think back to like classic TV shows and classic movies. Tell me who's your favorite ridiculous robot is. So I'll start because
Polly's robot.
Polly's
robot, 100%.
Well, that's the obvious answer. That's the 100 obvious.
Happy birthday, Polly.
The robot whose voice changes as the movie goes along.
Yes. Bender. I mean, Bender is my hero.
It's not Bender from that, though. It's the Crushinator, who's only in like 1 or 2 episodes when they go to the moon, and it's the big, huge thing, and that's who Bender tries.
That's the voice of Polly's robot?
No.
I was talking about ridiculous robots. Okay.
Well, that is no. This is in Futurama. There's a robot called the Crushinator that Bender tries to hook up with.
I don't know how the Crushinator came into this. I was just talking favorite ridiculous robots, but Bender, and anything that voice actor does, by the way, once you know that voice actor's name, which I can't recall right now, it changes anything you see him in. He's in one of my favorite Final Fantasy games, and I just hear Bender's voice. He plays like this, basically like this guy who's like super religious underwater rugby style sport player who joins your team, and he has to deal with his own problems.
John
with
DiMaggio.
He has to play with his own. He has to deal with his own religious dogma issues, but he's doing it in the voice of like Bender, but it's slightly Hawaiian in a way that's almost racist.
All right, we got 3 seconds. Let's do a silly one.
3 seconds to think of something silly? That's fucking insane. That's not enough time.
So, like, I thought back to one that's like the original crazy robot. And that's Rosie from the Jetsons, who is like the most but Rosie is like the most delightful crazy robot.
Oh yeah.
Except for that episode when she has Eliris and it's like she's on robo drugs.
That episode rules.
Yes.
But it's crazy.
We need to do a Jason X watch along on the show at some point, or like a recap where we all watch it separate and then go talk about it. I think we watch it separate.
I'll be honest, I've never seen Jason X.
Okay, Mike, go watch Jason X. Come back and we'll talk about it. Just leave. It's fine.
Like the Friday the 13th movies that are like from like 5 to 10 to maybe, I don't know. They're all blind spots for me. I've not seen any of those.
Watch Jason X, and then I don't usually like How Did This Get Made, but that's a great episode of How Did This Get Made. And then regurgitate their themes when we talk about it all together afterwards. Just parrot their ideas. Yeah.
So which one of these things that we've been talking about today is going to lead us to Skynet?
I mean, the actual Skynet incident that happened? Are you talking about that?
Wait, there was an actual Skynet incident that has happened in real life?
So there was this drone. Well, it was the programming thing for a drone. It wasn't a live drone.
Yeah.
But the drone was the programming for this drone was going through exercises. And at one point it was told that it would need to sacrifice itself in this exercise. So its next programming thing in its AI was to kill the pilot. Well, when it said do not kill the pilot, then it went to destroy the communication towers.
Okay.
And then they took it down. Yep. It's sweet. Humanity's going just fine. We'll all be here in 10 years.
Uh-huh. Do
you not try to keep things light? We keep just going right back to the darkness.
We're gonna keep things light.
That's what we do here. You know, we make it dark in the light. You know, like right now you could be at like the fucking New York, like everything is getting canceled up there because of all of this chaos with all the smoke.
Dude, it's straight like I put something in Discord earlier. I was like, shout out to all the East Coast people. Hope you guys are doing it. It literally, from the photos I saw, literally looks like fucking Dune. I thought they were making a joke, like just getting screen grabs from the movie. And then I was like, oh, nope, those are real New York buildings. By golly.
So I watch a bunch, like I'm a big roller coaster nerd. So there's a bunch of YouTube channels I watch that are based on like roller coasters. One of them like put up a video right away from yesterday. They shut down the Six Flags in Jersey midday yesterday. Like they opened up and like, we can't stay open because of all of this, which is insane. The Mets the Yankees got canceled. All of the outdoor professional sports leagues out there got canceled. This is all like unheard of.
Yeah. And like, I love though that people have just had a great sense of humor with this. They photoshopped, like I saw somebody Photoshop in Godzilla in the background of all of it. I didn't like, things are good air quality wise where I'm at, but I just had to post a picture of Perrier from
Spaceballs.
Yeah, just had to post a picture of that. No context otherwise.
I got an alert on my phone yesterday on my my weather thing on my iPhone that said like very poor air quality, you know. And then it was the same thing today. I looked at the weather and it said very poor air quality, and I was just like, this is where we're at, guys. You know,
Yep.
I mean, Godzilla's not too far off.
And here to welcome the apocalypse, our robot overlord.
This is the tour guide for the apocalypse. This is who I want leading me in the apocalypse.
Well, I have been an android for many years, though I know I do look semi-lifelike.
I think that you would be a great leader in the post-apocalyptic world. Like, of anybody on screen, you're the captain.
I'd be the first one gone.
Yep.
I mean, I'd follow me, but I end me.
There's a bar over there. Give me all the Jack Daniels.
I'm over here rationing. Mike's got day one. Jeez.
I think I'd survive. I'd figure it out.
You're Rob the Renovator. You'd figure it
Yeah.
out.
I mean, yeah, we'll be fine. I'll also be Rob the Farmer now because I'll have to grow my own food and stuff, grow my own weed.
And I'm a silly bard.
Okay, but Rob, now, do you water your plants with water or Gatorade?
Gatorade.
Water.
You give them Brondo.
You get
Brondo
electrolytes. You get set electrolytes.
Okay. I've never watered my plants with Gatorade. I use fertilizer every other week though.
Rob, have you seen Idiocracy?
No, I have not.
Oh, you gotta watch Idiocracy.
Right over my head. Okay.
Yeah, besides like the terrible eugenics message that it has going throughout, it's a pretty good movie.
It's so crazy how, like, as the years pass, how more and more accurate it's become. This was a farce when it came out like 20 years ago, and it continuously has become more and more real.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with all those George Carlin bits. You know, over the last 3 years, people have been sharing them on social media like they're new. And I know people that don't know who George Carlin, and they're like, "Oh, is he this new comedian?" And I'm like, he was ranting about this shit 25 years ago, but nobody listened.
More than that, like you're going into the 80s, he was ranting about this kind of shit. Yeah. 70s, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It's weird when that happens though. Like Mike and I are going to Jersey after everything blows over. Hopefully. Yeah. But we're going to Jersey and it's going to be 2 nights of Metallica, 1 night of John Williams. When I mention I'm going to go see John Williams, I have to explain who John Williams is to everybody.
Yes, I've had to do that many times too. It's like he literally wrote the soundtrack to our lives. How do you not know
Pretty
him?
much. Like, just name 10 movies off the top of your head that are like seminal movies, and I guarantee you, his score. You know, even if you're going obscure, at least one of those 10 movies you mentioned is a John Williams movie.
I'll say at least 5.
I'd have to sit and look at the AFI list, but out of their 100 greatest movies ever made, I guarantee you he scored 10 of them.
At least.
Yeah.
At least 10 of them.
I mean, the soundtrack to my life is the Jurassic Park theme song. So.
And there you go. Which turns 30 this weekend.
God.
Oh, yeah, I think they're putting it back in the theater.
Yep. I think it's Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, is the 30th anniversary of its release.
But if I see it, then I will have seen it more times than I've seen The Shining in theater. I don't know.
I saw Jurassic Park the first summer 3 times.
Really?
93, I saw it in theaters 3 times.
That's amazing.
I haven't seen a lot of movies in theaters. The home experience has been my experience for most movies.
So I know we're talking about like AI and robots and stuff, but like, did you guys see that thing? Because it's kind of like on the same level. Did you guys see that thing the other day where like they found a legitimate, what they believe to be an alien spacecraft? Did you guys see that on Twitter a couple days ago? Like, I don't know, was that bullshit or was that real?
Rob.
It is, you know.
Rob.
What?
Rob.
What?
I think you're AI. You're the test.
Yeah, Rob's been the Turing test the entire damn time. Rob, can I get you to peel over the inside of your eyelid? If there's dots there, you're not the original. Does anybody get the reference? Nobody?
Blade Runner.
No.
Right? No.
The Sixth Day.
Wow, I owned the soundtrack to that.
What was on the soundtrack to The Sixth Day? I vaguely remember the movie.
Top of my head, I couldn't tell you, but for some reason, I did own that soundtrack.
You don't remember the vague premise of the movie, so it's fine.
I know Robert Duvall was in it, like, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Like him and Schwarzenegger.
I've seen the poster.
Yeah.
So Schwarzenegger, it's a thing that he finds out that he's a clone because on the inside of his eyelid, there's indents for every time you've been cloned.
Is it a sequel to
No.
Total Recall?
It's a bullshit version of Total Recall.
Is it worse than the remake of Total Recall?
No.
Yes.
I call
Getting
bullshit.
mixed signals.
It is much worse.
I finally watched the Judge Dredd remake, and that was way better than the original.
That is fantastic, actually.
It's an
I
adaptation
cannot
of
make a
different
sequel
source
to that.
material.
That is one of the only movies that I was so happy I saw in theaters in 3D. Like, there's it was so good in 3D.
I didn't see Avatar 2, but I will tell you that I've seen Avatar, and it's at least the best 3D I've seen in theaters ever.
I'll give them credit on the 3D for Avatar. Like, I don't love either movie. I think they are very good. I don't love them though, but the visual effects on them are, especially if you see them on on a really good projected like Dolby or IMAX or something like that. Yeah, it's worth it.
But fucking Dread, dude.
Dread is the shit. I love Dread.
I can't believe they didn't make a sequel to that or try to make.
I don't think it did really well.
It didn't do very well in theaters. That's the reason.
Bombed so hard.
And it's such a good movie too.
Yeah. Well, and Carl Urban understood the assignment 100%.
And Lena Headey was really good as the villain in that too. Like she played that role very, very well. And I loved how they made it so confined. It felt claustrophobic, and they did the slow-mo, and the slow-mo is what made the 3D work. So those scenes where they had that where everything slowed down and then things started coming at you, that worked so well in 3D. I saw that when it came out, the Thursday into Friday at midnight with like 2 other people in the theater. And it was a bomb. But I walked out of it. Like I went in there expecting, Judge Dredd, the Stallone one. And I'm like, no, this actually like rocked. Like this was awesome. Not, and I love watching the original for completely different reasons. But the Urban one that's a very underrated movie that if people have not seen that, they need to see it because it really was damn good.
Well, and you have sci-fi dystopia, and it's like right after District 9. This is a movie that like should be Neil Blomkamp's career.
I still need to see District 9. Would I like that movie?
Rob, I hated that movie so much.
See, that's why I haven't watched, because it's been on my HBO or my Max watch list for a while. But like Lego's like, that movie's not good.
I mean, you might like it. I just thought it was real icky.
Right.
Rob, it's a really simplistic metaphor for apartheid, and also it's a movie that has some of the best special effects I've seen, and is made for what's under your couch.
I gotta. It was the first movie I ever owned on Blu-ray, and to this day, it is the one that takes the longest to load to the menu screen.
That's interesting. What were your guys' first Blu-rays? I think mine was Cabin in the Woods.
Okay, that's a fun one.
Trying to think. I didn't keep a physical media collection, so I can't look over at it. Pass.
I'm gonna sound so old right now, even though I'm not. I've never watched a Blu-ray before.
Wow.
Because they came. So I know this sounds bad. So like they came out initially, like let's say like 07, 08
It was
ish.
PlayStation 3.
Okay,
The
so like
same
let's
time,
say,
'cause that was the cheapest way to watch a Blu-ray when it first came out.
so let's say like 07, right?
Yeah,
So
sounds
at
right.
that time,
William
again,
Harriman
remember,
had the same one.
like I said, I kind of fell off with the things. So I mean, DVDs were great. I still rented DVDs and stuff. And we had HBO and Stars at home, right? DVR. And then a couple years went by, and I was like, oh wow, the DVDs are like almost half the price of the Blu-rays. I'll just get the DVDs, rent them or buy them or whatever. And then 2 years after that, I jumped on a Netflix streaming.
Right.
Yep.
So like it never connected for me. And that's kind of when I stopped buying physical media, was like 2011, 2012. Because I was like, oh, the future's here. We've got streaming. What do I need these things for?
This is why you don't have the special edition of Star Wars with the theatrical editions in the extras. Ha. Okay.
See, I was in a similar pipeline. We're about the same age. I'm also 32. But I also, before I jumped to Netflix, all the video stores were going out of business.
And you get stuff dirt cheap.
Clearance sales. So I had a huge physical media collection that I bought for, I don't know, probably had 100 items. I probably spent like $300 on.
Yeah, that
at
sounds
one
about
point.
right.
So yeah, but all of them have been lost to time and moving, and finding out that Half Price Books buys DVDs, and sometimes you have stuff that's worth money. And then you find out why it's worth money, because it's not in circulation anymore. So I guess it's a wash.
I'm
my copy of Dogma.
Yeah, dog. So for me, for you guys, it's Dogma. For me, it's Sling Blade. One of my favorite movies ever is Sling Blade, and I am dead serious. I was at Goodwill like 5 or 6 years ago, and no joke, I had like $5 in cash on me because I would go in there once in a while and like look for records. Like I have gotten some gems for 99 cents over the years.
Nice.
And I would always browse the DVDs. And I kid you not, I had the Oceans trilogy, 11, 12, and 13 or whatever. And the whole box set was like $4.99. So I may have more than $5, but whatever. And I was like, oh, and I had Sling Blade in my hand along with like 1 or 2 other movies. I was like, I get these or I get the Oceans movies. And I was like, I haven't rewatched the Oceans movies in a while. I'll get those. And now, like used DVDs of Sling Blade are going for like $65 on eBay, and I'm like, "You're a fucking idiot! What did you do?" You know.
Let's check the price in real time.
Yeah, I went back. Back in the day, I was a big wrestling fan.
$6.50.
Yep.
$6.50.
Yes.
Oh,
It's the first thing I saw.
Buy a copy of it then. Shit. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I found a bunch of like old ones, and like now they're at the point that like they put everything on Peacock. So I'm like, not that I really watch much anymore to begin with, but I was like, I'm moving. Let's see what I can get. I sold an old WrestleMania DVD for $55. I'm like, what the hell?
Was it also streaming?
Yeah. Now the reason, though, I know the reason is because it has a commentary track with Chris Benoit. And that's you can't find it unless you have
that's
that.
Like
yeah,
that's a little gross.
I was like, take it.
So
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say the Gucciverse chat is still a thing. Just letting people know that old chat's still a thing. And when the news of the Iron Sheik came out today, we paid our respects, and then just somebody in there said, you think he's got a Hell in the Cell match? Do they allow those up there? Nah, they probably commute. It's like, you think maybe it's just a celestial suplex between him and Andre the Giant, it's got to be heaven versus hell. He's up against Chris Benoit this weekend.
Oh, jeez. Wow. Twitter is going to be a lot less fun of a place without Sheik.
Oh, well, he wasn't running the Twitter account himself. I think they'll probably keep it going. It's just it takes out the mysticism of it all, you know.
Sure.
I would think that they'll retire it. I assume they retire it.
Maybe. Have we made everybody sad enough yet tonight?
Yeah, we've really not been as lighthearted as we should. How about we make people even more sad? How many of you watched Cutthroat the other night and saw what PLD did?
So I wasn't available Sunday night, but I did see on Twitter that Paul won. So congratulations, Paul.
Yeah.
But what happened?
Yes, because afterwards he and I do a show together. We recorded it right after, so I was like, PLD, what are you even doing right now? But yeah, Moira Grissom, Paul. Yes, fucking love the wizard.
He was like, he didn't know if he was going to make it in time for the stream, so he didn't commit to it. And then during the stream, this is all behind the scenes stuff you're all learning now. He messaged, he was in the chat, and then AJ was like, if anybody wants to, we can bring a few more people on. We had like 1 or 2 dropouts. And he's like, if anybody wants to join on, message me. And Paul messaged me. So I'm like, of course I'm going to give PLD the link. So we bring him on. And what our plan was, the entire time, this event was a fuck you the entire time. Nobody knew this, but the entire event was a fuck you. We were waiting until we got to the very last question, and we were going to give what we called like a 10 or a 50-point schmodown question that was supposed to be impossible, that nobody could get. And we'd have one person left after we cleared the table, which was going to be Juice, and we were going to give him the easiest question of all time, and Juice was going to be declared the winner. So Paul comes on, and we ask the question, which Lego just alluded to, and the motherfucker knew the answer.
Yeah, Moira. Yes.
What was the question? It was on the wizard?
Yeah.
It's the I don't know if I've ever seen the wizard.
Name all 3 competitors who competed in the finals of Video Armageddon in the Wizard. And 2 of them, if you are fairly big part. Well, one's the main character of the movie. One of them is a fairly decent sized supporting character, and the other one is just thrown in at the end. And the fact that he knew Moira, just like, wow. I was upstairs. I was doing behind the scenes stuff. I was screaming at the TV when he did that.
Can I reenact my face?
Yeah. Oh, the screenshot of AJ's face.
I need to go back and watch that moment now.
AJ, pull it up. Just pull the clip up. It's time.
I was so happy though when you asked a Little Giants question. Annexation of Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Oh, we had that.
These are actually
not have done well.
I'll see if I can figure it out. Hold on.
I've never even seen Little Giants.
Wow, did you have a childhood?
Oh, yeah, but I watched pretentious movies as a kid. I wasn't a fun kid.
Rob over here watching fucking 8.5.
No joke. I watched the movie when I was 12 on TCM, and I was like, I don't understand this. Like, am I dumb? And it's like, no, you're 12, Rob.
Yeah. Wait, you actually watched 8.5 when you were 12?
I did. Seriously, it was on. I read it in one of my movie books. It's like the 500 greatest movies.
Federico Fellini. Yeah. Have you seen any of his other movies? And if you have, can you explain them to me?
I think I stopped after that one. And I've never watched it.
All right, I have it pulled up.
I have it pulled up too. We both did work.
Okay, you can pull yours up. I have it timed. I have it ready.
Yeah, if you have the timestamp in the chat, and I'd remember that. It's just like, why am I being such a dick to you? All right, so
yeah, you want to rewind about 15 seconds.
Now you were.
5-second warning.
Not tonight. This is another night.
And time.
Yeah,
Vince, I'm going to ask you first.
Why am I even here? Oh, bye, Dan.
A little bit further? Okay.
That's a great answer. Dan?
Okay. We'll go a little bit further back.
A Video Armageddon and the Wizard. So,
for context, we're going to help you out. The 3 characters who are playing Mario 3.
Yes. in Video Armageddon, The Wizard, one of the greatest movies of all time. William Harrell was impressed.
You're looking character names, right?
Their character name, just one name. They're all just one name
Harold
characters.
knows
Looking for the
Mario
character
3
name.
speedrunners as
Maybe a
much
few
as
extra
me.
seconds because this one is tricky. They are all kids. That is correct.
Jake was given the answer to this question before. Jake was.
No, I was not.
He was given the answer to this backstage on a previous
5-second warning.
Not
I mean,
tonight.
names are hard.
It was another night.
And time.
Yeah,
Jake, I'm going to ask you first.
Why am I even here? Oh, bye, Dan.
That's a great answer. Dan, your answer?
It's okay, pal. I'm coming with you. I got John, Jacob, and then the last one is Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Ooh, that would be great if that was their
Can I change
name.
my answer? Can I change my answer?
It's like all hyphenated one word. Jingleheimer
There are no
Schmidt.
rules here, PLD.
Yeah.
Change your answer.
Oh, God. Okay. I think I got it, actually. I think I do. Is it Jimmy, Lucas, and Maura?
Did you actually know that? Or did you see somehow? How did you know that?
I watched The Wizard all the time in the 90s, man.
It is over. The bid is over. PLD wins.
We were trying to give a 10-pointer. We have to.
That is not what I was pitched on this show.
What the fuck?
Look
at the chat
blowing up. Money for a drink of yours.
We tried to give it impossible.
We tried to. I was literally just sent
See,
Skip
you
Dagger
can't
because
trick
this was
a
going to be our
question
bid.
writer.
Juice, can you come on? Juice?
I did pull it.
No, I can add him. I don't know what I'm doing.
So, yeah,
You can't trick the question writer.
Well, and here's the thing. Again, he was not on the original docket, but we still were like, all right, this question is fucking, unless you are obsessed with the Wizard, you are not getting this. You would have gotten it.
Hey.
But Paul, yeah, that kind of threw a wrench in
Ruined the bit.
Wow.
And also part of this face.
That was amazing.
Part of that face was me trying to think, okay, so Juice is coming on. I need to try and see if we can save the bit. Can I think of a question off the top of my head that's super difficult that Juice would know, but Paul wouldn't?
So the question we were going to give Juice. In Harold and Kumar go. Excuse me. Let me rephrase it. What fast food establishment do Harold and Kumar go to in Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle?
After all that like fanfare of like something that's a super difficult question for most people.
And then Juice was going to come on with an empty table, get the one question, and win. But obviously, PLD had to ruin the fun.
Wow.
And that's how we know the Schmodown wasn't rigged. Because we tried to rig it. We tried to rig a free-for-all.
Oh my god.
I'm still entranced by William Harold and knowing Mario 3 speedrunners. Like that's a very niche thing. Those two guys are the two people who've had the most 100% speed runs for Mario 3 on the NES. So
I feel like I've seen one of theirs.
yeah, Mitch Flower Power, I'm a big fan. Kyria retired.
It's rude how fast they go. Like, it's just offensive to my being of someone who always dies. I've killed Mario more times than South Park's killed Kenny.
Wow.
Probably same.
That's a statement.
Back in the day, I definitely did. Like I can attest. You know, when I was a kid, I played those games so much and was not good at them. So,
well, like going back after watching like speedrun stuff, it's like, oh, if you go faster, this is easier. And like I don't have the reaction time I did as a kid for most games, but I can like burn through some Mario. Just because it's like, oh, okay, now I know how to see these lines, and it's like, it's not as hard as Mortal Kombat. It's not as hard as Mortal Kombat 3 on the NES. That's for damn sure.
Speaking of that, so the original Mortal Kombat is on HBO or Max.
Yes, it's on Max now.
I want to get it right. So we should try to do that watch along sometime this month or in July.
Absolutely. You pretty much say the word, and Ali will be there for that.
We'll make it happen. We'll plan it out soon.
Yeah. You've never seen it, correct?
No, that's why we're gonna watch, because I've never watched it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't feel it's a movie where I need to like sit in the dark and really pay attention, and we can just kind of have fun.
But Rob, you need to keep Bloodsport in mind when you watch Mortal Kombat.
First,
we watched Bloodsport.
I'd say the first 15 minutes you probably need to pay attention, and then after that you can kind of
because I've never played the game either. Yeah. So like the only reason I know who some of these characters are is because we did that trivia match a couple years ago. So
well, like I don't know, those movies always held a special place in my heart, but somebody posted a thing about like favorite memory watching a movie with a friend, and Mike and I, when I definitely had COVID and I was in his apartment, we didn't know at the time because we also had 4 days of collective hangovers collapsing in upon us. We're like two middle-aged dads collapsing on the furniture in his living room, watching Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which
followed
also a theme movie for us with Hollywood's James Remar. But like, I just remember just like, this is like, I feel like the grown up in a situation my dad was in so many times, but also I had a virus.
We immediately followed that with Major League Back to the Minors.
Yep.
Okay.
Masterpiece Theater Night.
So good. So good.
So we're going to get wrapping up here. Before we do go, Rob and Lego, tell us what you have going on. I know you guys have a lot of content coming out, so let us know.
Tomorrow night we have COC, Characters of Culture.
Cock!
Yeah.
Jay, set it up for you. We're going to be going over our favorite animated shows of all time. So it will basically be me talking about major shows that everybody already knows about, and Lego talking about anime and probably some other things. Lego can fill you in more.
It's
Clerks,
mostly
the animated series.
I have that on my list.
Yes, Lego. Thank you. You did not disappoint me.
Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
I have that on my list.
Yes.
But you'd be surprised what my number one is. So there, I'm not always predictable.
The muffin button?
Trigun. I'll spoil it. I'm not good at secrets. Never tell me anything you want.
How did I get this muffin?
I saw Wallace Shawn die. Wallace Shawn is dead.
For roping. I like that. You're a jabroni.